new Laowa Sunlight 2x Anamorphic lenses. I have set of 2 lenses and I was testing them for the past month, and this is July right now. I do have a pre-production version, I do have kind of a prototype, I guess, and they're actually gonna change the design a little bit. So at NAB I met those people from Laowa, yeah, and they reached out to me and asked like if I actually would like to try them. But I want to say that Laowa did not sponsor this episode. Let's actually talk about the focal range. One lens is 40 to 80 millimeter, and because we're talking about 2x anamorphic, it's gonna be on a horizontal field of view, it's gonna be equivalent of 20 to 40, while vertically, yeah, it's gonna be 40 to 80. The another one, it's gonna be 70 to 135. But what I think cool about the zoom anamorphics, because you can do in-camera zoom effect. So this is 2x zoom 40 to 80. This one is also almost 2x zoom 70 to 135. I can tell you that on my documentary I was using mostly this one because I love this feeling when I can come closer to my subject and have this kind of intimacy. But for the interview part I used this one, and the same quality, it's incredibly good lenses. Something about T-stop here. Those lenses are not fast lenses. Those are T4.5. Most anamorphic lenses, you actually have to stop down to f4 or f5.6 to get a decent sharpness out of them. After testing the lenses, yeah, I realized how actually good and sharp those lenses wide open, and I was shooting them wide open with some anti-filters. That's why I think those guys decided just to start it from T4.5. Also, I think another reason why those lenses are T4.5, because they actually cover the full frame. Yeah, both of them full frame lenses, and that's incredible. So let's talk a little bit about characteristics. This guy weighs 2.8 kilograms, which is, I don't know, 5.5, almost 6 pounds. This guy weighs 2.6 kilograms. You probably will not be able to put it on your gimbal. 100% you need a lens support because you don't want it to deal with mount on your camera. There is 10 blades, aperture, and focus throw is 300 degrees or 305 degrees, 100 degree zoom throw, and 30 degree aperture. I really like the focus throw because it has the perfect amount of resistance actually. So those comes of course as a PL mount, but I've been told that there's also gonna be all other mirrorless mounts like Sony E mount, Canon RF, Nikon Z, Leica L mount. On this side of the lens you can see the focus is in fits, right? While on this side of the lens you can see metric system. So they're both metric and Imperial system. On this lens 30 to 135, the close focus at 0.78 meter, 78 centimeter. As I do remember, I placed my subject somewhere over here and it was a close focus. Yeah, and for this lens the close focus is at 60 centimeters. Again, from the sensor to the subject it's 60 centimeter, a little bit closer than on a previous lens, so that's the close focus on this lens. Also, it's super good because I wasn't able to find any cheap diopters for the 95mm thread. To be able to focus on a pretty close to the subject is actually super cool and super rare for zoom anamorphic 2x lenses, which is unicorns right here. Since I said about this, you can clap on matte box 105mm diameter, but I do not have matte box this big. The inner diameter here for screw-on filters is 95 millimeter, and I do have my set of filters for my Canon 28-70, which is also 95 millimeter. So yeah, they just perfectly fits on those lenses. And yeah, outdoorsy I was using ND3 all the time and super happy with it. So they will come, yeah, in three different ones, in a silver flares, amber flares, and blue flares. My personal opinion, blue flares is mostly for sci-fi movies, and I do have silver flares here, so keep that in mind when you're gonna see my tests. Flares are here, they're not subtle, I mean for my taste, and there is a lot of going on, and that's actually gives me some cool vibe, because it's not one like streak and that's it, and like whatever. There is a lot happening in terms of flares as soon as you point some source of light to the lenses. It's a lot in a good way that you like, oh, this was shot like with some cool anamorphics, not like with crappy, cheapy lenses, you know. So yeah, love the flares. The most exciting part, the price for one of them, $6,000. And if you get both of them together, you will get them for $11,000. And I guess it's gonna come with the case, which I also have. And the case comes with shimmers, the case comes with some tools, and the case comes also with lens support. Yeah, and they've been shipped to me in this case, and everything good with the lenses. As I understand, those lenses are aimed more into professional productions. They offer superior quality of the image, since those lenses have pin cushion, so they go after Cook look, the famous Cook look, right? But those lenses, the zoom lens, the only problem that it costs like 10 times more, just a little bit over $60,000. But also those lenses cover only Super 55 sensors, while these new Laowa lenses cover the full frame. You guessed it right, both of the lenses are parfocal. And what does it mean? It just basically means like you can focus on something, then you can zoom in or zoom out, and the focus is going to stay on the same position. Those lenses, both of them, have a little bit of pin cushion distortion. This is the opposite from the barrel distortion, and the famous example I shot with it's Blazer's Anamorphics, and they have this barrel distortion, right? But those lenses are different. But what I want to mention is that the pin cushion distortion is actually not that really seenable in the real world. And on a test with my friend started to pan around, I was actually shocked how well corrected both of those lenses are. And you can see this pin cushion distortion only on the charts. When I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why those are so heavy, because those lenses are made to be perfect. They have this character, they have this like 2x bokeh, and they have those like rounded shapes on the side of the lenses and everything, but at the same time they are super sharp and they are super well corrected. Focus briefing is well corrected, but again, maybe because it's pre-production version or maybe because it's the lenses, I see a little bit of difference in squeeze factor, maybe just me. I actually had to do it super fast like that. You will never do that in real life, but in this case you can see a little bit like how the picture changed. So about the bokeh, whatever, it's really pleasant. I mean, especially when you shoot at T4.5 wide open and your subject is pretty close, the bokeh on those lenses are super amazing. That's why when I was doing test with my friend, I intentionally waited until the sun goes down and all those cafes around us, they're gonna turn on the light, and I just wanted to see it, and I was impressed. I really like this. This look gives me the vibe of the movie. About chromatic aberrations on those lenses, as I noticed, it's present here, subtle, but it is here. What about pros and cons of those lenses? The amount of value those lenses are giving to you. This is 2x anamorphic, it's zoom lenses, right? And they cover full frame and they've been showing like super nice picture. They're not really aimed to solo creators, maybe to indie filmmakers, but again, it's not like you're just gonna put this lens on your camera and go, I don't know, around and film your local farmers market. Those are huge. It's almost 3 kilos in one of them, right? Plus you gotta have like your camera, you gotta have the battery, the monitor, and the whole kit. Like really, 3 minutes holding it handheld, my wrists are kinda in pain. When I was shooting for the first day my documentary, most of the time I actually was doing it handheld, and man, like my hands, but even more my back was killing me. Yeah, so it's painful. The pain is real, but if you have any kind of support, tripod, easy rig, shoulder rig, like basically anything, that will help you. And what about the cons of those lenses? Well, for me personally, although I totally understand it's for big productions, but still, you know, they're big. You will not be really able to put those lenses on a gimbal. Forget about it. But other than that, I don't see, I mean, price, of course, for some people, they're not cheap $1,000 anamorphic primes. But again, those are unique ones because cover the full frame, 2x and zoom. So combine it all together and it's a unicorn kinda in the world of lenses. There is something interesting although about this lens, because at 40mm it slightly might not cover full frame. I mean, you can see a little bit of vignetting, but this is the pre-production version. Laowa knows about this issue, although on my tests when I was recording in full open gate mode 3x2 on a 36 to 24mm sensor, when you squeeze it for 2x lenses, it's gonna be 6x2 or 3:1 aspect ratio, and this aspect ratio is going to be wider than you even see in a movie in the theaters. So it's wider than 2.59:1. So what you're doing in this case, you actually gonna crop from both sides, from the left and from the right of the image. You're going to crop. That's why for me at the 40mm there was no kind of issue. While yeah, if you're gonna see on your monitor, you will notice the lens actually, right? You will notice this vignetting, but as soon as you crop it, you don't see anything, and you never actually use anything wider than 2.59:1 aspect ratio. But yeah, Laowa probably gonna change design, I'm not sure yet. If you have the questions how I shot those lenses on an open gate with my Canon R5 Mark II, if you don't know, Canon R5 allows you to shoot with electronic shutter 30 frames per second as a photo. And what I did later, I just put them all together, made a video out of them. I mean, there is no sound, but it worked. But guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I try to answer anything because yeah, I was using those lenses for the whole month almost. Super enjoyed using them, although I have to send them back. I wish I didn't have to, but yeah, I'm gonna send them back soon. Hope you enjoyed this video release, and don't forget to follow me because there's gonna be more lens reviews on my channel. And as always, I see you in the next video. Bye.